Welcome to third installment of What I Bring Primitive Camping. And in the same vein as shelter and a poncho to cover ourselves, we are going to talk about a sleeping system. And we're going to cover the sleeping system I use most, and it is a sleeping pad and a sleeping bag. So let's start with the sleeping pad. Now this is a Therma, rest in peace. Amen. No, but seriously, this is a Therma resting bitch face. For reals, this is a Thermarest Pro Light Plus Regular. Now I could have used a long, large version, but I've never had a problem with my sleeping bag sticking a bit out or getting wet or me getting cold feet. Plus with the longer version, it's more weight and it's bigger and harder to compress. Fine. I'm not a huge guy, 181 centimeters. So no problem here. This is actually self-inflating with an R value of 3.8. Now scholars and the knowledgeable say that for winter camping, at least have an R value of 4 or 5. And that this 3.8 will only be good for 3 seasons. But I have slept out in this in minus 17 actually. No problem, no cold seeping through. So I just used this for all 4 seasons. Now, people also say that this being self-inflating, I should use some kind of pump or bag to get it inflated the rest of the way. But you know what? It's your gear. Do what you want. But stuff has consequences, and that will probably be black mold inside this thing or something. Blowing this up with my mouth the last part of the way hasn't resulted in anything. So do what you want. But yeah, this will sustain me through the night. Very good, very small, and very handy. I'm gonna show you how I get it as small as possible, because these never pack at the same size as they came in. But I have a neat trick. Probably a well-known method, but it's quick and it just works. So let's check this method out. Of course, release the valve. And it came folded in the middle like this when I bought it. That is the best way to pack it. Fold it in half. I put my knee halfway on it so as to keep it in half and also to blow out some excess air. Start from the end here and I just curl it up using my knee as a leverage point. And when you do this, you keep the shape of it, in half, and you can really squeeze all the air out of it. So you can actually get it just as small as it came in the unopened package, or even smaller. It is very, very good in my opinion. Very handy, very small, and it does its job perfectly. Now, like all decent sleeping pads, it's not cheap if you want to get one with a well-known brand and a good R value. This is about 1200 Danish kroners, and that's about this much. It's just very good. It's lasted me a hell of a long time, and when you put a ground sheet out and clear the area, it will last you, many, many years. I'm not endorsed by any of this, but I do want to show you the systems and brands I use and how I use them. Pigeons. My sleeping bag is a very well-known, very standard Corinthia Defense 4. And again, not the most expensive, but it's up there. 2,000 Danish krone, give or take. That's about this much. They say this is a 3-season sleeping bag, and it is. Because the comfort level of this is about listed at -8. Its comfort limit is listed at -15. And its extreme limit is listed at 36 minus degrees or something. I have slept in this in plus 10, 12 at night. Actually just a couple of weeks ago. And that was fine. I opened it up inside my tent and got some air. So wasn't all that bad. But, high season summer where the temperature is really soaring at night, like 15, 18, it's not going to be very pleasant. But other than that, I have slept in this in minus 17, minus 18, though with some helping hands, like a warm water bottle. I have slept in -degrees with heated stones from the fire at my feet, or just a nice warm water bottle tucked in your groin, for the nice big blood vessels so they can heat up the blood and transport it out into your body. This is just a very lovely sleeping bag, about 2 meters in length, so it will stick a bit out from my Therma resting bitch face sleeping pad. But again, I just tuck it in or pull it up. Never have had any problems with it. It has a tiny little face hole right here. And that's kind of funny because you look like kind of a packaged worm in it. Even if it gets cold, never stick your head in the sleeping bag and breathe into it. That will definitely cause condensation, and that will just get you wet and humid and moist during the night. Don't tuck your head in when it's cold. Get a fleece cap or get a merino wool cap or something to guard your head. I actually always have my pillow here, and I've chosen a sleeping bag that has this with the purpose to hold in my pillow. So I usually just tuck up my fleece jacket, use it as a pillow so it doesn't scoot anywhere during the night. Then your face just fits perfectly right out the hole, and you can breathe freely and with your pillow not scooting anywhere. That's a pro tip for you right there. This is a fiber sleeping bag, not half and half, not down or anything, but you know, fiber, because Denmark is wet a lot of the times. Even in summer, when it gets those thunderstorms and rains, it gets very humid. 3 out of 4 seasons it's very wet, even in the winter. It does not get very cold for a very long time, so down is not worth it for me. So that's why I've opted for a fiber option. And if it gets wet, it dries pretty quickly and it doesn't really clump together. Sure, if you live a place where it's very cold for a very long time, use down, because then there will really be no moisture for your sleeping bag to soak up if it's always frozen. My Therma cardiac arrest, use it 4 seasons, even in the winter. It can be done with 3.8 R value, and this I use for 3 seasons. It's too hot for summer. The last thing, what do I use in the summer? I just use a very, very cheap sleeping bag I got at a nameless brand store. You know, it has something Outwell or something, really cheap sleeping bag. Packs about the same size as my sleeping pad. Doesn't have to be fancy, just has to do the job. Sleeping in the summer, the only thing you really need to worry about if it's great condition is morning dew and some moisture from the ground. And even a cheap sleeping bag under a top will do the trick there. But yeah, this is my sleeping system. I do use a hammock from time to time when I sleep out in the summer and I don't bring a tent, so I have that cover with the mosquito net. I do that, but I prefer sleeping on the ground. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. This was my sleeping system. Many ways to do it, but I thought I'd share how I do it. See you later.